Coleman, who, rookie season gave you a lot at that spot.
Yep.
Probably moving now.
Yes.
What's the plan there?
He'll go to the right side.
Tackle?
Yes.
Wiley kick in.
Yeah, you're getting way too far down the line. We got a lot of practice to go still. So, but yeah, he'll go on the right side. But as far as tackle or guard, we'll start at tackle. That's where he's got lots of experience at, and we'll go there first. So that's the plan.
That's Dan Quinn from the owners' meetings today in Palm Beach. Welcome back to Grant and Danny on the Fan. Remember, in 12 minutes, Craig Laughlin, Caps TV, going to join us. They've got a huge game in Boston tonight. Not only the great chase being on Ovi, 5 goals away from Wayne Gretzky, but, 4 goals from Gretzky, 5 goals from passing him. But Ryan Leonard's making his debut, the highly anticipated prospect who just got eliminated from the college tourney at Boston College. So he's going to make the leap from college hockey to the National Hockey League with the Capitals at 20 years old tonight.
Yeah, as most people do, right? Isn't that a standard thing?
We'll talk to Locker about that coming up at 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock today, a little over an hour and 10 minutes from now, we will have a chance for you to win a pair of tickets. And these are tickets that you can choose what you want to see with. Pretty cool opportunity. Wolf Trap Pick Your Own Show tickets. We're giving those away at 4 o'clock on the Fan. But before we get there, you just heard from DQ on the way in there. Quinn saying we're moving Brandon Coleman to right tackle. There's been a lot of speculation that Coleman would kick right inside the left guard. That way you don't have to flip sides and kind of do the mirror drills that you have to do all offseason to relearn footwork and things. But he's been a tackle way longer than he's been a guard. In college, he played a lot of tackle, played plenty of guard too. But Quinn and the Commanders want him to be on the right side. And I will say that if you draft the right tackle in the 3rd round and you get a franchise guy who's there for 10 years, that's an amazing win. And there's even more value, frankly, than drafting a guard. That's about where you should find a guard. That's still a really significant overdraft. If you get a tackle there, that the war, so to speak, the value of a 3rd round win at right tackle, way bigger than at right guard.
Agreed. So my goal setting out this offseason is if I had something to do with it. But my hope was let's improve 3 offensive line spots. That can be done with only a couple personnel moves because Brandon Coleman was going to improve potentially 2 spots. I think they could do better at right tackle, see Andrew Wiley. I think they could do better at left guard, see Nick Allegretti. I had Coleman penciled in if they found a left tackle for one of those 2 spots. They found a left tackle. You may have heard about that move. So now you have Coleman replacing one of those other 2 guys. If they think he can do it, and listen, they called their shot. They were right about him initially. A guy that half the league or more thought was a guard, played pretty adequately, pretty plus even at times at left tackle. If he can be your right tackle, my goodness, you have found something pretty special there. You have upgraded 2 spots with 1 major move, which is hard to do.
So that tells me then that if Wiley's not your right tackle, and there's an if here, he basically says we need to see if he can do it. We're going to try him there first,
sure.
Meaning there's a chance he doesn't like the right side or that isn't comfortable to him, and they put him at left guard and supplant Allegretti, then maybe he'd have to move over to right guard until Cosme comes back. But I think the way I take this is Tunsil at left tackle, Coleman at right tackle. Wiley then moves inside to right guard where he played a bunch in Kansas City, has not played at all here over a few years. So it's been some time, but I would think you could do it at tackle, you could do it at guard for the most part as a veteran who's got experience there. And then Allegretti actually stays put at left guard for now. Because remember, you don't have Cosme for several weeks, maybe a couple of months.
At minimum, yeah.
When everybody's healthy, now you've got a debate and how everyone's playing and what they look like and are they 100%? All that's going to factor in. But when everybody's healthy, I would think then Wiley and Cosme in pencil would be your starters. Allegretti would be the first man off the bench. But maybe if Allegretti's playing really well and Cosme's had some issues, he becomes a backup. But it just gives you depth that you have not really had. Whereas last year, Wiley's your tackle. Maybe now he ends up on your bench because you've gotten better on the outside at both spots. This was the rest of what Quinn had to say about the offensive line.
The addition of Laramie and playing out at tackle, he's had such experience and done it at a high level. And so when you can add somebody of that caliber, that's a big deal. And so adding him right now into our mix, we're really pumped to have him. We can't wait to get him here. It's going to be a fun group to coach. These are like the guys we've added. Adam and his staff did an excellent job. We were very specific about the Commanders and who we wanted to have as part of this. And so he's an ideal fit for us.
So we joke when we're grading food, or we talk sometimes on the show about the 20/80 scouting scale in baseball, right? And the idea is you can simplify it down even more, a 2 to 8 scale. But 5 is average. So what would be a 50? But 5 is just dead average. So 45 is a little bit below average. 40 is below average. You know, 35 is well below average. 30 is bad. You know, that's the idea. 60 is plus, 70 is elite, 80 is top of the scale. So on a 2 to 8, I go through and I say, you've got a 7 left tackle now, 7.5 left tackle in Laramie Tunsil, probably. I think Brandon Coleman has the potential to be an awesome right tackle. He played pretty well at times at left tackle. There's no reason he can't be a 6, 6.5 right tackle, in my opinion, based on what I've seen. That's the ceiling. It doesn't mean it's a lock. But you could potentially have 2 well above average, plus or better, 1 elite, 1 plus tackles. We saw Biotish last year. I would say he was a 6 center, wouldn't you? Like, he was a well above average player.
So, for sure.
The guards, I'm not as convinced on. Cosme been a 6 at his best. You need him healthy. For now, Allegretti's maybe a 45, a 50. I think, Wiley as a tackle was a 40, 45 a lot. Maybe a 50 at his best. I don't know what he'd be at guard. But I guess my point is they've got 2 really good tackles if Coleman hits. They've got a really good center. So now, if I'm filling it out like the way I'd want to in a Madden game, I would start with tackle, center, tackle, and then worry about the guards.
Precisely. And now you got some upside. A tackle getting kicked in usually performs better than vice versa, right? Like we got some pretty good data over the years to that. So having Cosme be uncertain, and that's not his fault. That's just the timing of the injury. It's bad luck and, age and a bunch of things, banged and bruised. I feel better about Andrew Wiley at right guard and Allegretti at left guard than I would about who the hell's going to be my tackle. Now that if you could solve that by, again, 2 birds with 1 stone, this Tunsil move, you're improving at 2 of the 3 most important positions of that 5. I think that is a win upon win upon a win. And that's why I'm willing to pay a little bit of a premium to go get a Laramie Tunsil that way. Because again, you're not just improving 1 spot, you're improving multiple.